record. Good morning. Today's going to be a pretty quick class, I think, depending on how easily you guys understand what I'm asking you to do. And then you'll be free to go do the thing. I have updated as of yesterday afternoon, about 4 o'clock. I updated all the iReady stuff. So you should be able to see your grades in iReady. Let me pull that up. Sophie, this is my message to your mom, so just ignore that. So I'm going to pick on a person, and I'm picking on Ellie because her face is showing up right now. So you can see that like you've got scores for your iReady stuff now, if you did it. If you didn't, then there's no score. And you should probably go do that. I'm not going to check iReady every day because it takes a long time, but I'll probably check it once or twice a week. So just know I'll be updating these as you guys turn more stuff in. Okay. With that being said, I added 2 new iReadies, even though I don't know why they're not popping up on the stream. They're due next Tuesday. Determine word meanings using, I think it's context clues. Yep. Looks like some of you already did that one. And close reading unfamiliar words. So, another note, iReady and Google Classroom are in no way connected. So, if I look at this one, I've got people that didn't turn it in because they didn't go click turn in. So it's possible that like some of these people actually did do the iReady, but they didn't go click the turn in button in Google Classroom. So it says missing. Just know that even if it says missing, I'm going to be looking at iReady and I will put your grade in if you did it. Does that make sense? So like Samuel didn't click turn in, but he did it. So it says not turned in, but I saw that he did it, so he got the points. Is that making sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay, cool beans. So then your final assignment for Out of the Dust is to write 3 verse poems. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. You're going to write 3 free verse poems. So free verse poems are basically what we've been reading in Out of the Dust. They don't have any rhyme scheme. They don't have a plan. They're just written. And I think I might post a couple of actual photographs, hi Layla, of what these poems look like, because in the PDF, there's no stanzas or anything. So can you guys see this? No, you can't because I'm sharing my screen. Genius. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, so can you guys see this okay? So yeah. Do you see where there's like some writing and then there's a space and then there's more writing and then there's a space? These bits are called stanzas. So it's like a small paragraph. So I want you to write in stanzas. And do you remember when she wrote those 2 poems that look like a piano, like this one? And it was titled On Stage. So it's about her playing and it's in the shape of a piano. Do you remember these things? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that is part of what you're going to have to do. Each one should have a different topic. I'd like them to be about things in your life, whatever that is. It could be things you like. It could be things you dislike. It could be your thoughts. It could be your favorite movie, whatever you want. One of them, though, has to be about what it's been like in quarantine. So you have to talk about quarantine in one poem, because I think what's really interesting is that we are kind of living our own Dust Bowl situation here. So please talk about quarantine. The other two can be whatever you want.
Madame Otterbury.
Yeah.
Basically, at our house, it's like, you know what? Me and Manny fight a lot, so my mom, for a nickname for us too, she gives us the she said, "Calm down, you two, thunderstorms," because we're always running around knocking things down.
A good one. That's a good thing you could put in your poem. Yes, Ella, we're gonna talk about it. Free verse poetry of all the poetry is the easiest to do, so don't stress too much. Zalika, I will answer your question in just a second. Okay, so the requirements for each poem, I'd like you to have one line of figurative language. It could be a simile, a metaphor, or personification. So whatever that looks like, just pick one and have one per poem. You need at least 3 stanzas. Length of stanza, I'm not specifying, but you need like 3 paragraphs. So if you want really long one and then 2 short ones, 3 short ones, 3 medium ones, it's kind of up to you to how long it needs to be to get your poem across. 3 stanzas per poem. These are the requirements for each poem. And then extra credit is to make one of the poems into the shape of the thing you're writing about, kind of like the piano. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Nick, you're each writing one of these. So you're each going to write 3 of your own poems. So some of you might have similar topics. Like if 10 of you are going to write about Animal Crossing, that's fine. I don't care. Nick, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to talk about...
Madam Otterbury?
Yeah.
Do you have to write it on a docs, or can you write it on a paper and then, like, send it to you?
That's fine. So when you send it to me, though, make sure that it's very legible. Like the pictures I can kind of make out, but make sure your parents take a good picture or you take a good picture. Okay. Jude, do you have a question?
Yes. Is that 3 stanzas per poem or
Yes.
just 3 stanzas?
3 stanzas
To which one?
per poem.
And
So
we're
a
writing
total-
3 poems, right?
Correct. So not at least 9
Okay.
stanzas total.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we just make it into like different shapes? Like, can I just make it like into the shape of a rectangle or something? The like poem. So like
Are you writing about a rectangle?
No.
Then you won't get extra credit. We're going to talk about it. I'm giving you the qualifications and then we're going to do one together, okay? And Ella, yes, it's about your life, not Out of the Dust. We're just mimicking Out of the Dust. So like she wrote about what life was like during the Dust Bowl. She wrote about things that she liked, like the apple trees, eating apples, all the things you can do with apples. She wrote about playing the piano. She wrote about the baby. She wrote about her mother, her father. Like it wasn't all just about the Dust Bowl. It was about her life and things she was doing. And so I'm hoping, yes, Ella, that will be easier. Okay. Any other questions on the requirements?
No.
No? Okay. So we're going to write one together. And we're going to write it about online learning. Okay,
Can we use this as our first one or just an example?
this is just an example. Nope. I'm going to write it on my iPad. So, what I want you to first think about is give me a couple of things that come to mind when you think about online, this whole online learning thing. What are a few things that immediately pop into your head? Jude.
It's like not as fun as being in person.
Zalika.
More homework.
Peter.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay. Here's what I want. Martha.
Mommy. So, well, it's harder to learn.
Maya.
You have to be more independent.
Aiden.
You spend a lot of time looking at your screen.
Iris.
Doing it on a screen sometimes makes it inefficient.
Inefficient. Cool. Nick.
It's not like we don't get any like time to like go out because of the coronavirus and because of a lot of homework.
Let's see who else. Samuel.
I think it just honestly, I feel more like alone. When I was at school, I would go to recess, play with my friends, but now I'm just stuck at home. And
Okay. Ella.
More of a positive thing. People can't get bullied at school anymore.
Melinda.
You're at home more, that, or you're not with your parents as much because you're with your grandparents.
Oh, that's interesting. So if your parents are not working inside the home, you have to go somewhere. Aiden.
It's it's more distracting because you're at home and you're too.
Yeah. Karen.
Babysitting your little siblings.
Cool. Okay, I think we have enough to go on. So what we did first is these are just ideas. We just brainstormed things that came to mind when we think of online schooling. So there's not a lot of positives that you guys gave me, and that's fine Nobody said these had to be feel-good poems. So now I'm going to think about if I was to write these in a sentence, what would that sound like? So I'm just going to start writing a paragraph. And then I'm going to show you what I want to do with it. So when I'm learning from home, I get very distracted by things that are more fun than homework. So that's a sentence I might write about things being distraction, and there being more homework. I need to make these small. So to put that into like a poem, I need to just kind of get rid of words that I don't need. So for example, in the book, she says, let me find a good one. Breaking drought. After 70 days of wind and sun, of wind and clouds, of wind and sand, after 70 days of wind and dust, a little rain came. So she's repeating herself. She's using very few words to get her point across. So what I might do is I might focus on the fact that I'm learning. I get distracted, more fun, and homework. And I'm just going to kind of focus on those sets of words. So staring at, nope. Trying again. The endless to-do list yells at me when I ignore it. While I pay attention to Netflix because I'll just watch one more episode. So, what do you guys think about that?
Funny.
Funny. So, to me, I didn't quite get to the learning from home yet, but I have this to-do list. Do you guys all have one of these? That's just like every day you're adding something new. So here's my figurative language. My to-do list yells at me. So that's a personification. And then I'm expressing that I'm distracted because I'm paying attention to Netflix. Well, or Netflix, apparently. So Zalika asks, when do you start a new line? When it feels right. When you want to emphasize the next word. So, like, I really wanted to give emphasis to yells and like when I ignore it, or because, or one more episode. I could have also written this part to really give like the emphasis of I'm just going to watch one more episode. I know you guys have done that. Where you're like, I'm just going to play for 5 more minutes. I'm just going to just one more game, just one more episode. And that just keeps happening. It does not have to rhyme. It's a free verse, so you really shouldn't expect it to rhyme. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. My mom tells me, get back to work. Turn off the game. Watch your brother. Are you even listening? What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's accurate?
A little.
A little? And then you can work with the punctuation again to give it emphasis. So like these 3 dots, they're called an ellipsis. They kind of make a thought. Whoever's drawing on my screen, could you stop, please? Thank you. And then I'm putting a period after each of these things and a question mark. Do your parents get frustrated with you?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a thing. Okay, what were some other things? It's lonely and we're staring at screens a lot. Let's see. I see my world in small boxes. Poorly lit faces.
You stole my idea.
Do people even shower? I talk to the image of friends. Sitting alone on my bed, wondering when I get to stand in front of them again. Oh my God, you guys, I just got a TV. Sorry, sidebar. Okay, what do you guys think about that one? Hello? Am I alone? Is anyone here?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I could be done. I didn't use all of these things, right? But this was just a brainstorm, and then this is kind of what came out of it, and that's okay. I could keep going. Did this help? Ella, it helped Ella. Okay. So what if I want to write one? I'll post this, guys, so you can kind of look back and see what we did, okay? So what if I want to write, oh, I need to title my thing. What if I want to write about something that is a shape? Maybe I'm going to write about being stuck in the house. So what I might do is I would draw kind of the shape of a house so that then my words could go around in that shape. So let's see how this might work. I see the same walls all day. These floors were cleaned yesterday. The dishes keep piling. Where can I escape my brother?
Why not nightmare?
Okay. My mom says go for a walk. Get some fresh air. So then if I took away the house part, let's see if I did it. Kind of looks like a house, yeah? A little bit?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit. A little.
Kind of.
It's
Okay,
a little extended.
It's a little extended.
It's a weird shaped house.
It's a weird shaped house. But you get the idea. Somebody just raised their hand, but I don't know who it is. Let me see. Ella.
Okay, so if we do 4 poems, will we get extra credit?
Sure. Aiden.
Do we have to do 3 poems or 4 poems?
You
Okay.
have to do 3.
Yeah, I know, but can we do more?
Yes. Ella just asked if you did more than 3, would you get extra credit? My answer was yes.
Okay.
Also,
Go ahead.
do we have to do a specific topic of some of them?
The only one I'm making be specific is I want one to be about how like quarantine has affected you. The fact that like,
Okay.
so I want you could even relate it to the Dust Bowl if you wanted to go that route, but it needs to be something about like this would be an example of how quarantine affected us if it was projecting, but it's not. So just the one we wrote about online schooling, that could be an example because that's how our life is during quarantine. Or it could be, about what it was like when everything shut down or the fact that everything is shut down. Yeah, Melinda.
Do you have to title each different stanza?
You have to title each poem. Which I don't think I put in the qualifications, so maybe I should fix that. Wonder if it'll fix it on all of yours though, if I have to add a new. I don't know. Hopefully that worked. So I'm not sure I would consider this house one done. Because it doesn't, it's only one stanza. So maybe like the next stanza I could make look like a window. Dude, I don't know how this one's gonna work. We'll find out. I see people walking. Masks covering. Wow. Faces. Blank. Ghosts. With dogs. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Am I making a window? Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a thick window.
It's a thick
Yes.
window. So
It's a window.
it's a window-ish sort of thing. What I want to say to you guys is notice how few requirements there are. So I'm not asking you to make these rhyme. I want them, I mean, you've read Out of the Dust. You know how simple some of these poems can be, and that's completely fine. Free verse poems are fun because you can just put down in a few words kind of what you're thinking about. So, you know, I think the fact that this is how we see each other, our life is in tiny boxes of moving people. It's like being in Harry Potter with their moving pictures, their moving photographs. It's a new world. So try to make some comparisons, try to be creative with your words, but don't make it harder than it is. I feel like if you just start writing, it'll just come. And hopefully it looks like a poem. And remember that they can be, some of your stanzas might be really skinny. Like this stanza is really skinny, but then this stanza is really wide. So you're going to have varying sizes. You know, these are really long stanzas. And then some are really short. These are much shorter. So there's no right or wrong. Like, look at this stanza. Most of the page. So try not to get overwhelmed by it.
Is it okay if the stanza is only like a few to one to a few sentences?
Yeah, there was one I just saw that was like two lines. But so I think, so when they do so like these are just one line each. New stanzas come when you want to emphasize a new thought. New lines come when you're like, I want to make a big point out of this. So like state tests again. I wish I could run home and tell Ma. I wished and see her nod and hear her say, I knew you could. It would be enough. So when you have these lines, it's because she's emphasizing these ideas. So I wish I could go outside, enter, and talk to my friends, enter, go to the zoo like we used to, enter, hug my mom. Like I can't even hug my mom. I haven't seen her in over a month in person except Sunday because she put our dog down. So I went over and we were all wearing masks. We were all staying 6 feet apart. And that was horrible. And so, like, I could write about that emotion because you can't even give people a hug. It's so weird. Jude.
When is this due?
What a great question. It is due next Thursday. So not in 2 days,
Okay.
but in a week and 2 days. Lily.
Okay.
is your
Thank
hand up?
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So for an out of the dust, when she says I knew you could, would that count as a stanza by itself, or is that a part of a stanza?
That's a stanza. Technically. Because it's got the separation between the lines. So technically, this poem has 1, 2, 3, 4 stanzas.
Technically, or is?
Yeah. This last thing is just, it's the date, so I would not consider this part of the overall poem, but
Okay.
Bea.
So if we write 3 stanzas, does that count as one poem?
Correct.
Okay.
Jude.
You said for extra credit, it's 4 poems, right? Or was
Or
that
you could
4
no. So Ella asked if she writes 4 poems, could she get extra credit? So if you write more than 3 poems with 3 stanzas at least each, I will give you extra credit. Or one of the 3 poems could be representing the shape of something.
How long does the poem have to be?
I don't know. Long enough to give your reader the idea of what you're trying to say. And the reason I say I don't know is because there's no rule about that. So there's this poem, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit pages. Okay, so that's one poem. Whereas there's another poem somewhere, I think it's towards the beginning. That's a poem. That's it.
Wow.
So this is what with free verse poetry, there's no rules. I mean, that's a whole poem. But then the next one is 1.5 pages. That's a whole poem. This one right here. Don't make it harder than it is. Does it seem easy, or does it seem like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this?
Easy. I've already started.
Brilliant. Is there anything else I can do? Any other questions I can answer to help make this very doable?
Can you go back to some of the words from your poem?
Can you repeat that question?
Can you go back to some of the words from your poem?
The one I just wrote in class?
So no, the third poem that you did. I don't want you.
I'm hoping you mean this one.
Can you go a little bit down?
I'm gonna post this, you guys. I don't want you to write what I wrote, but I'm gonna post this. I'll add it.
Classroom?
Yeah, I'll add it to that assignment to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing. Whoops. Anything else I can do for you? No?
Madam Audebray?
Garen, go ahead. That could be a poem. She asked if, like, you know when your foot falls asleep and you get that weird staticky feeling in your foot? She said that could be a poem. Yeah, could. Write a poem about your static foot. Yes.
What if like we use the title but write something like not what you wrote? Would that be okay? Or does it have
So
to
you
be?
use the title Zoom, but you're not copying what I wrote?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
Cool. Well, that's all I have for you. If there's no more questions, you're more than welcome to leave.
If there's no more questions,
Bye.
Bye, guys.